All right, on April the 10th, let me move again with this. All right, I've got 3 monitors here, and I keep and today just all the news articles I want to talk about end up being on that monitor, which has my microphone right in the way. So, okay. Let's moving on here. Okay. All right. On April the 10th, there was a school shooting in San Bernardino, California. Now, to my knowledge, like at the moment, I believe, and in the incident, a man and woman were killed, along with, I believe, 3 students were wounded, and one of the students has died. And so far, everything about the incident points to it basically being a murder-suicide. There's a male 50... What is his name? Okay, never mind. Alright, so basically, hang on, stand by. I closed out the wrong frickin' article here, and that annoys me greatly. Here, just give me a second. This is a CNN thing, so wait for it while their damn video tries to load, even though I don't want it to. There we go. See now. Anyway, basically on the 10th, I'll just read you a bit from the article here. A Southern California man fatally shot his estranged wife inside an elementary school classroom attended by special needs children before killing himself on Monday, San Bernardino Police Chief Jared Burguan said. 2 students were injured in the murder-suicide at Park Elementary School in San Bernardino, and one of those children later died at the hospital. So basically what happened is, the guy went to the school. Evidently, like, he signed in at the front he signed in at the front desk. He went in to the classroom where his wife taught, pulled out a revolver, and shot her, and shot himself. And it is believed that so there are 2 students that were injured, and one of them has died. And it is believed that the 2 students were standing behind the teacher. And that's how they were hit. Like, he wasn't specifically aiming at any of the students, he was just aiming at her. So basically, yeah, I mean, it's a tragedy. It's disturbing that it happened. Like, I don't understand either why it had to happen at a school. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, let me put it this way. As far as a way of, I guess, semantics of categorizing this event. Everyone, of course, is saying that, okay, it's a school shooting. San Bernardino school shooting. This is, as far as its usage in pop culture of the term, this is not a school shooting, in my opinion. This is a shooting at a school, not a school shooting. Now, let me clarify. Basically, a school shooting is like, when you think of that, like, normally the way we think of a school shooting is something like Columbine, like Sandy Hook, or like Virginia Tech, I believe, was one, where basically there is a gunman or a perpetrator who is specifically going to that location to inflict violence on the people of a school. Like, it's like Columbine specifically, their intention was to attack the school and the people in it, just indiscriminately, the people in the school, classmates, teachers, so on. Whereas this situation here is basically this guy is unstable, had some kind of an issue, for whatever reason chose to kill his wife, and it sort of happened to be at a school. If that makes sense. Like, basically, the fact that the crime itself was not tied to the school. It was not an attack on the school or the people of the school. It was this troubled individual here who wanted to murder his wife and just chose a school to do it at. Like, it would have been the same, like, it could have, like, this particular crime, I guess it's hard to explain shit like this, but anyway, this particular crime could have happened anywhere. It could have been done at a movie theater, at a Walmart, at their home, at a gas station, whatever. The school was not an integral part of what was taking place. And that's how I kind of define, like, a bit of a distinction there. So, does it change the fact that it was a tragedy? No. Or that kids were killed? No. It doesn't change any of that. I'm just saying that people like to lump all these incidents together. Oh, it's a school shooting. They like to, in fact, there's actually a website that's mentioned in one of the articles, or a group called Everytown Search, or Everytown for Gun Safety, where an organization that's supposed to track school shootings, and they add this to it, like, basically, and their criteria, what they list as a school shooting is any firearms discharge on school grounds, or like elementary school, high school, college, or university. If a weapon goes off, it's a school shooting. It's what they refer to it as. So, where am I going with this? I don't know. I mean, as I said, it's a tragic thing. It does not appear that kids or any other students were a target. It was just a very disturbed. Okay, I'll just say it. An asshole. The guy was a fucking asshole. Like, one, shooting your wife. Like, really? Have you ever hear of a goddamn divorce? Separate. Get divorced. Move on with your fucking life. Go blow some money on hookers and blow. Don't go and shoot her. There's no fucking reason to do that. Crap. But I don't know. It kind of goes back to, like... And, of course, this is going to bring up the subject of gun control and things like that. And I think that's more what I wanted to kind of segue into. Because it's... I don't know. It's a complicated situation. Like with situations like this, like, how do you protect against it? How do you prevent it? And that's bound to be a question that comes up. Is how do we prevent situations like this from happening in the future? But then again, there's also sorry, quick little change of subject here. Reason I said 3 in the beginning instead of 2 is the bastards at CNN decided to make the headline, "Student 1 of 3 dead in San Bernardino school shooting." And at least I took that to mean student 1 of 3, like, injured or wounded, was dead. But no, 3 counting the perpetrator and the shooter, the shootee, and the kid. But anyway, it's just one of those things. It's like, how do you, unless you have like friggin' armed guards at the front, with metal detectors and friggin' pat downs and everything else, like, how do you prevent things like this from happening? And I think it's one of those issues, like, it gets looked at from the wrong direction. They always look at, like, how to prevent how to prevent things like for instance, how to prevent someone from getting a gun, how to prevent them from getting on, say, into a school with the gun, how to, whatever, so on and so forth. But they never seem to look at the other sort of the root cause, in my opinion. Like, for instance, why did this guy choose to take a handgun and ammunition, get in his car that morning, drive down to the school where his wife worked, enter the school, and then gun down her, a couple kids that were standing behind her, and then shoot himself? Why did he do that? And that's a question that I would really, really appreciate it if more people would start to ask. So I feel that's something that needs to be addressed to help with these problems with mass shootings and gun deaths in this country, is to start looking at not just like, okay, how do we keep the guns out of the hands? Well, a lot of times you can't. You can't legally, because a lot of times there are situations where, they haven't really done anything until they've done something. There's like the first offense that would cause them to be ineligible to have a firearm is the freaking shooting. So, in my opinion, I said that's what needs to be looked at. It's like for instance, suicides. And there's like statistics that I've heard people quote a lot where it's like if you have guns in that, like if they're like statistics prove if guns are easy to obtain, you have more gun related injuries and deaths. Yeah, because it's kind of hard to have gun related injuries or deaths with no guns around. So yeah, obviously, but that's not going to happen. So where can we go from there? We could do better background checks, which I support. And that's a whole. There's multiple tiers and like levels to kind of how to do stuff like that. But anyway, that's one of those areas where I think about like when you look at sort of the big picture on things. For instance, like mental health. And of course there are some gun advocates that will say, oh well, what about mental health? Is how do we take care of these unhinged, give these people like the treatment so they don't become unhinged and shoot up schools? And then they are completely silent on providing any programs or ideas to provide that care. But like for instance, something like universal health care or mandatory sick leave, paid sick leave or something. Things like that. More for so you actually can take the time from say work to go seek treatment. There's a lot of things I think that need to be looked at in the area of gun control that aren't being avenues that aren't being explored. Very few of which involve really restricting the weapons themselves, because it's just one of those things. It's like with suicides. And I've heard this argument being made that with like suicides by gunshot, that a firearm is a quick, surefire way to do something like that, to kill for someone to kill themselves, and that other methods are less effective. And some will even go so far as to say that, like, okay, well, if they take a bunch of pills, there's less of a chance of them actually dying, or if they try to hang themselves, there's lesser of a chance, or they might botch it and not kill themselves if they use something other than a gun. But on that note, these people are still trying to kill themselves. So they still evidently have some serious shit going on that needs to be addressed and isn't being addressed, regardless of whether or not they can successfully off themselves. And that's just, I don't know, it's something to me, like, I feel it needs to be, I feel this shooting, this tragedy is a prime example of it. It's just like, even with as many gun laws as you would like in place, as many protections as are on schools or involved with schools these days, things like this can still get through. So, I mean, in my opinion, just trying to tighten up on security and gun control isn't going to stop things like this. You know, we need to look at the bigger picture as to why this individual felt that he had to go into a school filled with kids and kill himself and his wife. Not in that order, obviously, but... And that's what needs to be, I feel, what really needs to be looked into. And what needs to be considered carefully. I've got some more on this subject, but I don't know. I'll do a general purpose gun control, like kind of my opinions video some other time, because I don't want to keep going on this. So that's it. See you next time. You know, like, comment, subscribe for my VidMe viewers. Upvote, follow, or tip if you'd like. I don't know. I'll see you next time.